This recording is to showcase the ScanForce production entry automation. This is the main screen that you're viewing. So the first thing we will do is log in. And now with our main menu, you see inventory transactions, utilities, order processing, and then manufacturing. Manufacturing is where the production entry automation resides. So we'll tap on manufacturing, and there are two versions we offer. The first one, the bill of material production entry, prompts the user to scan or enter in or indicate the bill they're producing, the quantity they're making, and then it backflushes all components out. The second one there that mentions BM production by comp, meaning component, will not only ask you what are you making and how many, but will prompt you through each one of the components as well. I'm going to show you both of those for simplicity here. We're going to start with the first one, production entry. Launch that program, indicate your warehouses. They can be the same or different. You may store your components or raw materials in one warehouse and finished products in another. At this point, you need to now enter the bill, where if you've printed off a bill of materials picking sheet, you can scan off of that. You can enter in an item number here or utilize a lookup. I just have some simple examples here, and one in particular for dome companies, I have set up here the first one, the tender tape 1 inch. So I will select that item, hit accept, and now it's going to ask me how many I'm making. Let's, for again simplicity's sake, say I'm just making 10. I'm not prompted as a user for any other information, just what am I making and how many am I making, and then I can send my data over to my Sage system. It'll connect up and import into production entry. You can then go in and manage these batches or post them manually, or you can have it set to auto post, and then you don't have to go back to Sage to do anything. It'll take those components out of inventory and it'll place the finished good in inventory. So let's pull up Sage very quickly here, go into production entry, and show you how that imports in. Pull up my production batch. Here's the production number we just did. And here is what Sage does with that when you backflush the components. Here are all the components that are listed for that particular item, the quantity per bill, and then because we made 10, it now takes out the appropriate quantity per item. Now, let's go back in and do the other version of ScanForce production entry. Let's do this by component. Simply launch the program, once again indicating your warehouses, indicate your bill, which again you can look up, scan it, key it in. Enter the quantity, and let's say at this point now I'm doing 24, basically like a case quantity. Now it's going to ask me for each one of the components, where again if I had a pick sheet for production entry printed off, I could reference that, or on the scanner here you can also do an item lookup, and it's going to show me each one of the components, telling me the quantity that I need to pick per component based on the 24 of the parent item that I'm producing. So you can highlight this, hit accept. Again, scanning is much easier, but you can do it both ways. You need to go ahead and pull 24 of these. When I do that lookup, you'll see that item drops off. So I can go item by item. Continue on. Each item drops off, again, as I pick these for production. And we'll continue through the last two items here. And you do not have to go in the order that they list. They list out in the order that they would show up on the bill of materials bill back in Sage when you're creating it. I have my last item here. Send my data back to my Sage system. Shows me how many records I've actually collected. Connects back up to my Sage system, and once again imports back into production entry. So you have the two options. You can scan or indicate your parent item, indicate your quantity, and have it backflush, or you can indicate how many you're making of that parent item and have it prompt you through each one of the components. Either way, it goes right back into Sage. If any of those items have a lot value back in Sage, it'll also prompt for a lot number. For the parent item that you're making, there's nothing for us to validate against, and you can have it set to auto-generate lot numbers, but it would still require that data to be entered. For any component, it would then ask you for the lot number, which we can have set to automatically pull certain lot numbers as well, or if you're going component by component, it'll go ahead and prompt you for the lot number, which it'll validate to make sure that matches that item. And that is the quick recorded demo of production entry.